it's 12:05, well, 12:04 in my clock, but I know we have a lot to cover with Renato. I sure, have appreciated these sessions a lot because a lot of the topics, it's items that I wanted to kind of get more in depth in. And you know how it goes. You have your workload, you have some of the stuff that you do on the side, family life in general. You never put time aside for some of these things unless it becomes like a task at work. So these lessons have really helped me dive deeper in subjects that I wanted to. Okay, so today is no different. This lesson I am I have some personal intentions in being here and learning because it's a set of subjects that I always want to explore but never had the time to. And we have a star to present. Renato has been presenting similar sessions to this all around the world. I've seen you've been traveling quite a bit, Renato. And Renato is a fellow from Brazil. So we have done events together in Brazil. And also, we almost did or took part of similar events around the world. It's a funny story here. A few of the events that I did with Renato, by the time I landed to present, he was leaving. So
Yeah,
we've been chasing each other around the world. So maybe this year we'll get to meet face to face because it's been
yeah,
a while. Anyways,
absolutely.
Renato, thank you so much for being here, and the floor is yours.
Awesome, my pleasure. So let me share my screen and you can confirm. Can you see my screen? Awesome.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Victor, again for the opportunity to share a little bit about Copilot Studio and Fabric and Azure AI Foundry or Microsoft Foundry. So, if you have any questions during the session, feel free to send a message in the chat or raise your hand. So that is to have a little bit. I would like to introduce not only Copilot Studio because probably you already have some experience with Copilot Studio because you heard a lot of experts previously talking about agents, AI, low code, pro code, vibe coding, and so on. But that is to cover a little bit how can we extend to different platforms. So the idea is to cover how can I extend to Microsoft Foundry models plus Fabric data agents. So the idea is to show how can we go to different platforms, how can we go to different ways. So first of all, my name is Renato. As Victor said, I'm a Microsoft MVP in Copilot Studio and Microsoft Foundry. So I'm trying to share more content about Copilot Studio. In Udemy, I have a few free content about Copilot Studio, and also I'm trying to share with the community all the time, just to help and to share with the people the content, and also the opportunities that we have once we are using agents in general. So not only building AI solutions, because sometimes we are building AI for simple topics or simple problems, but that is how can I have a return on investment based on the agents that I have. So in Copilot Studio, we have a lot of opportunities. So if I automate a process that I spend an hour per day in 5 days, probably you already have a return on investment for the license. So the idea is how can I do more? So how can I connect to a Microsoft Foundry? How can I connect to Fabric? Because probably my clients are using Fabric. Probably my clients are using Foundry, or sometimes the clients are complaining about Copilot Studio because sometimes we have a couple of limitations. So in this case, you can do, you can extend and also you can improve your user experience mainly. That is the focus for this session. So the agenda for today is basically to in the introduction to the AI journey from beginning, from low code to pro code, the introduction to Fabric, and also Fabric data agents. So I'll go, so probably I spend like 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the slide deck and go to the demo part. That is the cool part to doing the practice. How can I build from scratch? So this is the AI journey. So often we are starting from Microsoft 365 Copilot, and then we are going to we are sometimes we are finding some limitations in the agent builder or declarative agents, and we go to the second part that is for makers. Copilot Studio, we can do a lot of things. We can connect to over 3,000 or 4,000 connectors available in Power Platform, and we can deploy it to Teams, Microsoft 365 Copilot, WhatsApp, Telegram, and different platforms. And also sometimes we found little limitations in Copilot Studio. For example, I'm trying to upload a file, and also in Copilot Studio we have a limitation like 100 MB per file, or 2 files per time. We cannot upload like a bunch of files. So sometimes we are hitting some limitations when we are using Copilot Studio in different channels, and we go to the development part. So in the development part, we are extending to Microsoft Foundry. So in Foundry, we can build an external portal that we are building a beautiful portal connecting to agents in Foundry and so on, and using agent framework that is a pro code development, or we can have an option just to use the models available in Microsoft 365, in Microsoft Foundry. So I will show both options, and also one option that is available in Microsoft Foundry, that in Copilot Studio, sorry, that we can extend an existing agent to Microsoft Foundry. So this is really good because we can do a lot of things in both platforms. So just an introduction to Fabric. So Microsoft released Fabric like 2 years ago, if I'm not wrong, or a few years ago. But the idea for Fabric is just to have a unified data platform to centralize your Power BI reports, but not only Power BI reports. Power BI is not a small piece, but could be a small piece in the organization, because we can connect database, we can connect one lake, the lake house behind the scenes, we can connect to different platforms, mirroring the data from SQL Server or from Snowflake or Databricks, and just have one place to ask questions and connect to the AI. So in this case, Microsoft released Fabric a few years ago with the idea to unify the data, but right now Microsoft is connecting AI on top of that. So we already have Copilot in Power BI that we can ask questions to the dashboards. We can see more details. We can understand about the dashboards and extract a few insights based on the dashboard. And also AI is connecting to the database behind the scenes. But sometimes we have a limitation, because if I'm asking a question and the structure for that specific Power BI for the data set is too complex, sometimes the AI is not responding. And also we cannot control the Copilot in Power BI. It's an out of the box solution, so we can only use based on the license that we have. So that is the idea. Microsoft built Fabric data agents that we can customize agents to Fabric. So sometimes we know I have been working in a company called Belake.ai, that is an AI platform startup for data lakes. So we are building data lakes connected to AI and AI connected to data lakes. And the main part is the training, because sometimes it's difficult to train the AI. So we need to imagine that the user is asking that specific question, and also you need to teach the AI that that specific question needs to go to those tables and use that specific structure, combine both columns, and the answer should be like a markdown or needs to connect to an email notification or something like that. So the idea for Fabric Data Agents is a platform for data scientists and engineering in general, and they can teach the AI what is the expected response. So in this case, the data scientist know the structure, knows the tables and the columns and the data behind the scenes. And it's building basically an AI instead of building a dashboard with the complex logic and business rules on top of Power BI. So we can just connect to the AI. We can teach the AI. So for example, that specific question, the expected response is that one, connect to that specific table using those columns. So in this case, we can teach the AI based on the expected user experience. And in Fabric Data Agents, Microsoft built an agent, but not to deploy in Fabric only, because Fabric is not it's not a user-friendly platform for end user. So Microsoft built a Fabric data agent to deploy to different channels. So we have Copilot Studio as one of the options available. We have Microsoft Foundry. We can deploy to Copilot Power BI as well, used as an MCP server. So for example, in our platform, in our startup, we connected to Fabric Data Agent by using MCP server, because we only need to have WAF 2.0 authentication, and that's it. You can connect to Fabric Data Agents, ask questions, and basically that's it. You can receive the questions directly from Fabric. And also, if you're using Microsoft 365 Copilot, you can deploy as an agent as well inside Microsoft 365 Copilot, and you'll be able to start the conversation from the Fabric data agents. So instead of creating the agent in Microsoft 365 Copilot from Agent Builder platform, you can create from Fabric and deploy it to Copilot. So it's really good. And also, if you want to develop it from scratch, or use a framework, you can use Python SDK. That is another option. So probably you saw previously in the previous sessions about the Copilot Studio architecture, but in this case, this is the structure behind the scenes for Copilot Studio. We have the user experience, that is the main part. So where we are using our users. So Franziola asked a question about .NET. .NET is not available yet, only Python. Probably Microsoft is doing this integration for the future. But yeah, you can use MCP server if you want. So for example, Copilot Studio, we are deploying to Teams. So this is the user experience. Teams is our channel, is our platform. And Copilot Studio is orchestrating it behind the scenes. So where I can connect to Fabric, for example, I can connect to the knowledge because I can do grounding on Fabric, but it's not retrieving the data in real time. It's retrieving from like day zero or day minus zero or minus one or something like that. So it's not in real time. Tools, we can connect to Fabric data agents by using tools, or Microsoft Foundry by using tools as well. But you have a couple of limitations because you need to develop the code. You need to develop the MCP. It's a little bit complex. Or you can use triggers. So in Copilot Studio, that we can automate the process. Once an email is received, the Copilot Studio can go to Fabric to retrieve the data and respond an email notification, or add an item to Excel file, or add an item to SharePoint or something like that. And the main part, that is the session today, is the agents. So in agents, we can extend to Foundry, we can extend to Fabric. So if you have agents in Microsoft Foundry, you can connect them inside in this option. This is really important because it's in preview right now, external agents. I hope it will be in GA in the next few months, because most of people, instead of building LangGraph or LangChain or any other platforms to orchestrate the agents, right now we have the agents in Copilot Studio. This is one of the benefits by using Copilot Studio. We can orchestrate the AI agents in just one platform instead of building a pro code experience. So we can use a low code platform to go to different agents. And what is expected to have in those agents in the future? Probably Gene, Cortex from Snowflake, Gene from Databricks, and other AI or agents from different platforms, because Microsoft is not focusing on the Foundry or Fabric or Microsoft 365 Copilot. So the idea for Microsoft is to use Copilot to as their orchestrator. So you can build, instead of building different agents from different platforms and deploying to different channels, you can you can have one Copilot Studio agent connected to different agents in the company. So for example, we have Vitor Dantas. Vitor Dantas can build one agent for his company. And if the HR team is sending a message to the Copilot Studio, the Copilot should understand and check the permission and identify that that specific person is part of the HR team and the HR agent is connected in Fabric. So basically, Copilot Studio is orchestrating it. So this is one of the benefits by using Copilot Studio. And the last part is the foundation models. So in Copilot Studio right now, we are using GPT 4.1, 5. We have Cloud Code and different models from Anthropic. But sometimes I want to extend that. Sometimes I use Grok to do a specific task. Or sometimes I want to use like DeepSeek or Mistral to do a specific task in Copilot Studio. Instead of building another service, basically I can bring the model to Copilot Studio. That is the idea from Microsoft. You can bring your model from Microsoft Foundry to your agents. And probably this is Microsoft is going to a way that probably we today we are connecting large language models, but probably in the future we are using the same as we are using for Cloud Code and other OpenClaw or other platforms, that you can bring your model from different platforms and use inside an online platform. So that is the idea. Microsoft is going to a way that we can use different options. That one of the reasons for that is we we received an update last week or this week, if I'm not wrong. The computer use in Copilot Studio, sometimes it's in GA for a few regions. And also right now we can use computer use to execute actions on the browser or execute actions in as a computer. So in this case, Microsoft is going to a way to automate the process locally as well. So this is one of the benefits by using Copilot Studio. Any questions before we go into the demo? Okay. Feel free to drop your message and your question in the chat. So this is Copilot Studio. As probably you saw previously, we can start building our agent. So I'm using copilotstudio.microsoft.com. And often I can describe my agent to start the agent from scratch. And the AI is generating the agent for me. But in this case, what I did for this is the agent. I just put an instruction. I changed the mode. No, I'm using the default one that is 4.1. I'm not using knowledge. I'm not using tools. I'm not using triggers, but I'm using agents. That is a Fabric data agents behind the scenes. So I will show both before going to the Azure part. I will show Fabric, and then we will go to the Foundry models. How can we do that? So in this case, I can just ask a question like list the first. I'm not sure if I have employees. Oh, the first 5 cities available in Fabric. So sometimes I'm asking the AI to connect to Fabric, and also I'm using. So let me check. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. List the top 5 cities in Fabric. Let me zoom out. Just check. It failed. Let me check the issue because I was testing it. So I forgot to turn on the capacity. Probably one of the questions that you have is what is the cost behind the scenes when we are using Foundry data agents? So Foundry data agents, you can use if you have a premium license or a specific license. I can show you later the license available. But yeah, one of the prerequisites is to have like, let me open the prerequisites for Fabric data agents. You can have a specific license in Fabric, and also another option is to have a capacity. So as you can see here, so F2 or high capacity in Fabric, or you can use Power BI Premium per capacity. That is another option to build your agent in Fabric. And basically behind the scenes is using that specific capacity to execute on behalf of the Copilot Studio. So this is really good, but as you can see here, it failed because I was the capacity was off. So sometimes I forgot the capacity on, and it takes so it's expending a lot of money. So last month I spent 500 euros because I forgot capacity on. So in this case, I can ask a question. As you can see here, Fabric is not changing my question, but sometimes I'm using like a wrong word, or sometimes I'm asking Portuguese, or I'm using different wording. And the idea for AI, before asking the Fabric the question, the Copilot Studio is trying to orchestrate it and try to modify the question to adapt the question based on the user expectation. So in this case, it's correct. List the top cities in Fabric. It's connecting to Fabric. It's retrieving the data behind the scenes. It takes like 30 seconds sometimes, depends on the data that you have behind the scenes. So in this case, I have a lot of cities available. And also, once I have a response, basically, as you can see here, this is the text. So I'm not receiving the input text here because I didn't ask to provide the output to me. So I can ask like receive the output, or I can change the the data agent's instructions. So in this case, the instructions today is when the user asks for data about cities, dates, employees, or stock, use this agent to search across Fabric data agents. So, but you can modify. So respond to the user with the expected response, or using Markdown, or by using adaptive cards or something like that. You can customize the user experience by using a prompt. So this is not a good prompt in this case because I was just testing. But as you can see here, the response is top cities in Fabric according to the available data set. Ranked by population. We have New York and all the data that I have available in Fabric. So behind the scenes, the Copilot is asking the question, Fabric is receiving the question, is trying to connect to the database, trying to generate the SQL query, execute the query, receiving the output, and basically respond back to Copilot to do in a good format. Sometimes, so this is in preview right now. So sometimes we have a limitation. For example, yesterday I had a call with the Microsoft team because it's really good to have the query here, because sometimes if I have the query, I can validate if this is the right response. I can combine like this is the right response. I can ask the data scientist to combine and to check. And if it's correct, basically I can go to the next step. And also I can deploy and push it to the clients. So this is Fabric Data Agents. How can I build one Fabric Data Agent? So let me go to the Fabric first, and then I'll show later the Foundry agents and Foundry, how can I extend the models. So in Fabric, you have the workspace available. So you can build your own workspace. If I'm not wrong, the workspace is, yeah, this, let me check the agent name. Yeah, my agent. Yeah, this one. So in this case, in Fabric, you can have your workspace the same as you have for Power BI, or you are building for different user experience. You can create a new item, and there is an item called Data Agent that is in preview right now. That is good because you can test it. You can report the feedback to Microsoft. You can ask different questions. I can use like demo zero, or can zero to hero. So I can create my agent. So depending on the agent name, you have a validation. So just to check if you are not creating two agents with the same name. But yeah, Microsoft is validating it. And also I create an agent. This is not connected to the data yet, but I can add a data source. I can connect to the data. And also, as you can see here, I have a few semantic models, lake house, and so on. So I can just connect to the lake house. So if I'm not wrong, I'm using this lake house here. This is good because previously, probably you saw some companies building AI connected to Power BI reports, so on. Or sometimes you need to ask questions to Power BI. You need to use Copilot in Power BI. With Fabric Data Agents, you can connect directly to the semantic model. So you don't need to build an AI solution just for your Power BI reports. So you have it available. So yeah, I forgot I connect the wrong data source, to the wrong lake house, but that's fine. It's just to show you how can be what can be done. And also, as you can see here, this is my lake house, and this is the fields and options available here. If I just select this lake house and ask a question like, "Hi," basically I'm using AI behind the scenes, the same as we have for Copilot Studio, but instead of um, just using AI, Microsoft is trying to connect to the data source behind the scenes. So as you can see here, if I ask a simple question like "Hi," it's connecting to the AI and responding it quickly. But I can ask a question like "List the first name only for the Forbes table." So if I ask a simple question in data agents, it's connecting, it's analyzing my question, and also understand that is connected to the lakehouse and lakehouse tables that I have available in the database. And it's automatically generating the query. As you can see here, select left, it's generating an SQL query. I don't care about it, but yeah. So in this case, as you can see here, I have all names available from this table. And also if I take a look at the logs, the audit trail, and so on, I will be able to see based on the question. The question was list only the first names from the Fabric Forms response. I didn't tell the AI that I was using forms underscore responses table. I was just telling that is a forms table. That is this is simple because I'm using only one table, but sometimes I'm using a lot of tables, and sometimes it's a little bit complex. So in this case, that is the reason that sometimes this is not enough. And also I can see the query output, but sometimes this is not enough, the out of the box solution. Sometimes I need to go to the setup, and also I teach the AI. So here I can put the instructions, the same as we have for Copilot Studio. So I can teach the AI. So in this table, in this lake house, we have 5 tables. First one, like forms response. This table is responsible for employees and needs to hide like emails and phone numbers. So you can teach the AI what is the expected response based on the user query. So this is really good because you can teach. As you can see here, we have 15,000 characters as a limit because sometimes people are just putting everything, all tables, all columns as part of the instruction. This is not the best practice because behind the scenes, if I ask a question, it's basically bypassing not only those instructions, but it's passing the schema, the tables and columns to the AI, and the large language model sometimes is losing the context because we have a lot of information. So this is sometimes this is not enough. Sometimes the instructions is not enough. How can I do more? So in this case, I can go to data source description. I can put a specific description about the data source. So that specific data source is connected to uh, employees' data, and we only answer data about employees' names, not salary. We cannot expose the salary. We can teach a little bit about the data source. And also, we can go to the example queries that you can, as a data scientist, you can put like some examples. So in this case, if the user asks a question like first name only, I would like to use execute to that specific query, like select. So I forgot to type the question. So it's processing yet. So let me, it's validating because I forgot to type it. So once we are typing, basically it's already saving it. But I can use like select all from forms, and also I can teach the AI. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I can teach the AI what is the expected query to be generated based on the user question. So this is really good. So we have a few questions in the chat. So let me go here. Um, I'm going to the AI 102, and there are several services that are now seems to be compared to new technology. So yeah, AI 102. This is really good. So I guess Microsoft is updating the certification. So I saw Microsoft is requesting the MVPs and MCTs to update a few certifications, and I guess that specific one will be updated based on the new technologies. Microsoft cannot do it right now because most of the technologies are in preview yet, but I guess before the Microsoft build, that will be in 2 to 3 months. It will be in GA for us, so probably you will have more announcements and so on, and probably in 2 months, that specific certification will be updated, probably. Is this under the IQ workspace coming out soon? Yeah, Microsoft is doing so. The IQ and Frontier words basically Microsoft is trying to not using AI to retrieve the data from data lakes and data source, but Microsoft is trying to connect to the IQ because the IQ can not only use generative AI. Generative AI is generating answers based on the previous data. But IQ, the idea for IQ is to generate previous and expected information for the future. So it's kind of using machine learning and so on. So I guess Microsoft is doing in a way, and platforms in general are doing in a way for IQ to be the brain for your data and connected to the AI, not from the previous information, but for the future. And the IQ, the idea for IQ as well, is not only to understand your data, but to understand the path and the ways that your data is prepared. So, for example, the HR team often ask questions about the salary and the average salary for like developers, senior developers. So in this case, the IQ can identify that there is a common behavior for HR teams in the world that often they ask questions about a salary for senior developers. So in this case, the AI is not only providing the question but suggesting some common questions and common answers based on the user behavior. So probably IQ in the future. So we'll have IQ for all platforms. We already have for Foundry, Fabric, and Work IQ from Microsoft 365, and probably we are going to IQ for all platforms, the same as we have for we have Copilot, but the IQ is the idea for the future is to connect to previous and future expected data in the future. Can I call Fabric in Copilot to the agent? Yeah, you can. So I'll show you in a minute how to do that. So as you can see here, we built our agent available here. I can ask some questions, but this is not available yet for my end user. So how can I delete? So let me delete it first, but how can I deploy it? So you have the option to publish your agent. So let me delete it in this query. I don't want to train the AI based on that specific question. So if I publish it, this will not be available yet. But as you can see here, we already have the option to deploy it in Microsoft 365 Copilot. So if I have the power in my tenant, I can do that. So if I have the permissions, enough rights, I can do that. But I can just publish the agent. It will be available in Fabric, not in the target platforms yet. But right now, I can go back to Copilot Studio, and in Copilot Studio, you have a bunch of tabs, the knowledge, as I mentioned, and here you'll be able to connect to Fabric as well. As you can see here, I can, so this is not available for my tenant, but we have the powered by IQ, Work IQ, Microsoft Foundry, Microsoft Fabric, You have the tools available, and we have the agents. So here we can add a new agent. As you can see here, we have all agents available in Copilot Studio. So if you're building agents in Copilot Studio, you can orchestrate it as well. So you can have one agent for your company, and also you can ask questions to different agents in your organization. But we have an option called external agents that I can use agent to agent. We have Microsoft 365 Agents SDK that is really good. We have Microsoft Foundry that I will show in a minute, and we have Microsoft Fabric. And here you can just create your connection. I already have my connection, but this is really simple. It's basically authenticating it based on your question, your user and password. So I can just put my user and password for that specific environment, and that's it. I'm creating the connection in Fabric. And after that, I'll be able to see all agents available. So as you can see here, we already have 0 to hero. I can select the agent, I can go next. And here is the most important part. Description is not required, but the description is really important to teach the AI when to execute that specific tool. So I can teach like, once we ask questions about forms, you need to use the agent to connect to Fabric data agents. So that's it. Let me add and configure. There is no pro code experience. I'm just putting the data here, and that's it. So a question from Victor, is the description here similar to instructions? Yeah, it is the same one. The same as you put your descriptions in Copilot Studio. As a feature in preview, sometimes you have a bug. Sometimes I'm opening this panel here, and also I'm not able to see the description over here. If you expand sometimes writing the description to your data, to your agent, what can be done yet. So this is in preview. We are reporting a lot of items to Microsoft. Microsoft is trying to improve this user experience. But as you can see here, if I select the ellipses, I'll be able to open code view, and also I'll be able to see the description here. So I can just copy the description here and go back to the AI. And this field here, this is the important field. This is the instructions for your agent. So in this case, I can just put the description here. And also we have the same number of characters available. Another really important thing, when we are connecting to the data, often people are expected to connect to the data and retrieve the data, but by using some permissions. Uh, in Power BI, you have the RLS, that is the role level security. This is really good because we can authenticate based on we can respond the questions based on the user permissions. So in Fabric you have the same. So that is the reason that we are using OAuth 2.0 in Fabric. We can force the end user to authenticate it. This is the first option always. But if you want to bypass it, and you can just change it to make it provided credentials. The problem here is a security gap, because if I choose the second option means that if I have the HR team and the HR team asks a simple question to the Fabric, it's using my own permissions to execute on behalf of team, on behalf of Fabric. So if I take a look at the logs, it will be executed on behalf of Renato, not on the HR team. So this is a really important thing when you are using AI. So be careful with that. Be careful before deploying the agent. And this is the too technical part, but yeah, you have the data agents ID, the workspace ID. This is useful if you want to use MCP. So if you want to use MCP, it will be available. And the tools, that is a kind of a technical part as well. And the resources. This is not useful for you sometimes. But yeah, this is the most important part. I can just save the 0 to here agent. And right now I'll create a new session, and also I'll ask a question like, tell me the first two names and informs. If I ask this question, as you can see here, we already have an authenticated mode because it's connected on behalf of the user credentials and user credentials, not on my credentials. So let me copy the question because sometimes I'm losing the content here. So yeah, it's executing the data. So probably it's checking the fabric data agent. So as you can see here, found another agent that is my agent that is called employees, stock, and so on. But based on the instructions, the AI, the Copilot Studio found that is not this is not the best tool. So let me check the second one, the zero to hero. This is the best description, and let me check. I guess it was executed on the first one because the theme was similar. So let me create another session and ask a question, execute the forms. First, name the forms from zero to hero. If you have two agents with the same description or the kind of the same descriptions, it could be affected because the AI will not identify the best tool to be executed. So as you can see here, I'm asking a question to use from zero to hero. It's finding the agent available and it's executing behind the scenes. So as you can see here, it's connecting. As you can see here, my question was tell me the first two names, but this is not the correct question in English. And also the AI translated my question. And also what are the first two names in forms from zero to here. So in this case, as you can see here, the AI is transforming my question. And the output is the first two names in the forms from zero to hero are Renato and Tainá. So this is the way that we are connecting to Fabric from Copilot Studio. So as you can see here, there's no logs or information, but in Fabric, you'll be able to see those details. You can teach the AI how to do that. So this is the first part. So Fabric, if you have any other questions, feel free to drop a message in the chat. We are going to the second part, that is the Foundry agents and Foundry models. How can we extend it? So Franziola asked a question, are you in the development environment? Do you refresh? Yeah, you ask a question. Yeah, in this case, I can refresh the question, the page, or just create a new test session. It will be available at the same time. The user credentials will be available in all channels. Probably if you are using Teams, you'll be able to see like a drop down to choose your credentials as well. The same experience once you're connecting to tools or any other connector. As you saw, we can connect to Fabric. How can I connect to Foundry? So Foundry, we can connect to Foundry by using this agent as an agent, but sometimes I want to use a specific model in Foundry. So as you can see here, the AI is using models available in Copilot Studio. I can use Anthropic models or GPT-5, GPT-Chat, but sometimes, for example, I'm uploading a document in the chat for Copilot Studio, and also I would like to use a specific tool, a specific environment, a specific Foundry model available. So how can I do that? So we can use tools. In tools, probably you heard previously that we can connect to MCP, we can have agent flows, prompts, and so on. And also we have a few connectors available. So over 3,000 connectors available that we can just use. But in prompts, if I select this option here, I'll be able to teach the AI the same as we are building an agent, but instead of building an agent that is a little bit complex, an agent, we can have a persona, but prompt, we can just teach the AI to execute a specific task. So in this case, you teach the AI invoice, identify invoice details. So in this case, I can teach the AI. So if you want to type from scratch, but you can just ask a Copilot to write your prompts. So in this case, I want to share or to upload an invoice file from my contractor, and you need to identify the main fields and properties, a total amount, date, a contractor name, those three. That's fine. And basically, Copilot is basically drafting my prompt. So as you can see here, so the AI, you are tasked with extracting key information from uploaded invoice file provided by a contractor. I guess that I don't have invoice template. Let me check in invoice template. Just to download like PDF. Let me check PDF file. Let me check if I can download a prepaid. No, this is not available. So let me check if I can download this one. And also I can type a few details in that specific invoice file. So I already have the invoice here. Let me put this one here. Here we go. So the company name will be 020. And I can put like bill to or issue date, invoice number, PO number, that's fine. Company details, I'll put contractor name. I'll put something like this. Like, let me check. How can I type this information here? Here we go. Contractor name, Renato Romão. Bill to Victor Dantas. And I can put the item like training, quantity 1, and price €4, $4. That's fine. Total, the date. I don't want to put all the information needed. Put 4 here, and that's it. Let me save the document file. I can generate a PDF if I want, but in this case, that's fine. Let me move this file here. I'll save the file in a PDF format just to upload to Copilot Studio. Where's the data? No, I don't want to save. That's fine. It's blocking to access information here. Let me go back. Here we go. So in this case, I'll upload the invoice. Let me keep it. So I'll upload a template from my. So it's required to be a PDF. So let me convert it to a PDF file in this case. So let me move this one from here to here, and then I'll be able to see, because I was unable to see the output. So print as a PDF. I'll put in the desktop on the downloads. Here we go. I'm back. So let me go to the invoice, upload that file template, and that's it. If I want to test it, as you can see here, by default, it's responding as a JSON because I asked it to be a JSON, but the structure is not good because the JSON cannot be with space or different characters. I can remove it. So it could be like total only. And also I can put different information. But as you can see here, we already have the response with the total, the date that is null, and also the contractor name. So I can remove this space here. But GPT 4.1, it's taking too much time sometimes. In this case, not, but sometimes it's taking like 1 minute or 2 minutes just to execute this task. So how can I change the model? So in this case, you can change the model from by using the default one. So we have GPT-5 chat reasoning that is a little bit complex. It's going deep based on your content. But if you want, you can extend to a specific model in Foundry. So so this is using a wrong word right now is Microsoft Foundry. How can I build an agent in Foundry or Microsoft 365? Um, how can I build a model in Foundry? So you can open ai.azure.com. If you don't have a subscription yet, you need to go to Azure portal and create your subscription to have a specific subscription for that. But if you already have, so if you don't have it yet, you can open, so I already have the Azure portal available. So let me go to the Azure portal, this one. So in this case, you can go to the Azure portal, for example, go to the resource group and create a new model called like Foundry, Microsoft Foundry. And you can create a project in Microsoft Foundry. You only need to type a few details like Foundry name, a project name, and so on. But yeah, I already have a Foundry project available. Also, I'm accessing ai.azure.com. I can use the new interface or I can use the old one. The new one is really good. I can build the agents over there. So this is really user friendly. The old one, we have more details. We'll be able, in the old one, we have the overview, we have the model catalog that we can compare different models. So for example, if I want to use Mistral and compare with Grok or Cloud Opus 4.6, for example, basically you have the option to compare different models in Foundry. This could be useful if you are a developer or if you want to extend to different models or if you want to test a specific model. So, for example, people are using this scheme model to execute actions in the what is the name OpenClaw. So in this case, people are building agents locally with this agent here connected to the solutions. So in this case, sometimes you have different models for different actions depending on your needs. So what can be done is I can go to the models and endpoints available, and I can create a new model. So I can use like Rock and Grok 3, that's fine. I can confirm this one. This is using global. If you have more technical details, probably you can open this tab, configure the tokens per minute. This could be useful sometimes. You can put the content filter. So for example, before it's creating behind the scenes, but yeah, sometimes if you want ask a question like that contains violence or depending on the words that contains in the prompt or in the user question, basically the Microsoft filter is basically blocking the user question. So what you can do, you can customize the filter in Microsoft Foundry. So we have a couple of limitations in Copilot Studio, but in Microsoft Foundry, you can increase the filter or decrease. You can have a high filter, like with a few words that you can block it, or you can have like a lower filter that basically allows everything to be asked. So in this case, I already have the Grok 3 available. What can be done now is basically I can go to Copilot Studio, and in Copilot Studio, I'll be able to type the information. So in this case, I can just copy the Grok 3. If you type a different name during the creation, you need to type the same name. So if you create like Grok 3, like today, 2026 or something like that, you need to type the same name. How can I get the base model? That is the second item. So basically, you'll be able to see the deployment name here or the model name. The model name you can just copy. That is the same one. I didn't change the model name, but sometimes for some companies they are changing it. So in this case, I can go back to the endpoint. I can copy this endpoint. I know that contains the version and so on, but you can keep it. So you don't need to remove the data, the information, because if you are changing basically, and also you can copy the key, because if you are changing it or deleting a specific part, so for example, if I delete the API version, oh, let me remove everything, it will fail. So if I try to connect it, it will fail because I'm removing some parts of the endpoint, and Microsoft is trying to use that specific endpoint to hit the AI. So let me put it again and connect to Foundry. So in this case, my AI model right now is my prompt is using Grok. So in this case, if I test it again, it's failing because probably, so yeah, image inputs are not supported by this model. So this is one of the reasons that sometimes you need to understand about your model, because I'm using GPT-3. The same as if I try to use GPT 4.1 only, because that specific model, it's not allowed to use for if I'm using completions. So as you can see here, when I was pasting the URL, as you can see here, the endpoint is using completions. Completions are for text only, not for images or documents. So in this case, be careful once you are extending to Foundry agents or to Microsoft Foundry models, because it could be it could fail depending on the model that you have. So that's it. And also just to show you before ending this session, so this is one of the options. The second option is to connect to Foundry agents as well, if you want. So simple one, just create a new connection, the same for Fabric. But in this case, you only need to put the Foundry agent. So in Foundry, how can I build my agents? So my recommendation is always to use, to create your agents, always to use the new version, the new Foundry version, and then you can start building and creating your agent. I already have an agent available here, but basically agents in Foundry, you can put the instructions, you can change the model and so on, but you can put the knowledge. And here you can have the Foundry IQ, and also you have the Bing search, we have the SharePoint, we have a Fabric data agents, that is another option. But if I go to the catalog, I can see more details that are not available yet in Copilot Studio. So if I want to connect to MongoDB by using MCP server, it's already available in Foundry. So Elasticsearch and in different platforms. So Microsoft is trying to do in a way that we are not only building agents only. So Microsoft is doing a way that we can connect to different platforms and centralize everything in Copilot Studio. That is the idea for this session, to also share with you the options that we have once we are using um, Foundry in Copilot Studio. And also probably we have more sessions in the future, extending agents and doing more things, cool things in Copilot Studio. But yeah, I'm available if you have any other questions. Thanks again, Victor, for the opportunity, and thanks again for um, your comments in the chat and your participation here.
This is amazing. I can see that Frenziola is pretty excited about this topic. Now that's very nice. Again, we'll download this lesson, make it available in the channel, so everyone can revise and go through these details. I think it's valuable information. Anybody else? I know we are 2 minutes over time, but does anybody else have questions, comments?
I saw a question here. In Foundry, you can see the best performing model. How can I know from Fabric? Yeah, this is not available yet. But yeah, I guess Microsoft is doing a way to use different models, and probably you can use Foundry to compare the models, and then you can go back to Fabric and Copilot Studio and do it over there. But yeah, I guess there is not a public portal from Microsoft yet to compare the models to see the best performing model.
Very cool. Alrighty, folks. Yeah, I put Renato's information here in the chat. Make sure to follow him. He's always posting cool stuff. He's usually pretty up to date when Microsoft releases anything associated with Copilot. I feel like I get more updates from Renato than I do the official Copilot team. So make sure to follow him on LinkedIn and any other of his channels, YouTube, and so on and so forth. All right. Thank you so much, Renato. Thanks,
Thank
team.
you.